It's the Happy Families podcast. It's the podcast for the time-poor parent who just wants answers now.
G'day, this is Dr. Justin Coulson. Unfortunately, Mrs. Happy Families, Kylie, could not be here today. Stuff happens in families every now and again, so you're stuck with me, which is such a bummer because Kylie was desperate for this conversation. Today, we've finally been able to track her down, the winner of Season 2 of Parental Guidance, Kat, the Honest Mum, to talk about her experience and everything that's been going on since the show was recorded.
The best parenting style is... Kat, Honest Parent!
Kat, honestly, how are you going?
Well, I'm utterly disappointed that Kylie's not here to greet me.
I know.
You will do.
I'll do.
Look, I'm doing fantastically, and I've actually been, I must start this off by saying, I have been really enjoying your podcasts with your lovely wife.
Oh, thank you. What's it been like doing the recap of the show? Like, the show's been on the TV for the last few weeks and Kylie and I talking about the next day. Well, how has it felt to hear these conversations about you, about Kat from the TV?
I find it really, like, there's two forms that this comes in for me that is still mind-blowing for me. One of them is my children will say something to me like, hey, Mum, could you look up this on Google because we're doing some homework? And I'll go to get into the little Google bar, but all of a sudden my face is there. And then 10 minutes later, I'm reading about myself and they're sort of waving at me saying, hey, Mum, do you remember you were actually doing a task for us? Right. So that's a bit of a mind-blowing experience. But listening to these podcasts, what I love about it is, as you know me to be, I'm always busy and I'm always on the go, and I don't actually have a lot of time to sit down and listen to something that goes for 45 minutes to an hour. Also being neurodivergent, I don't tend to go back to things. So 25, 30-minute podcast with you and your lovely wife, just going over the important stuff, having a great chat about things and not leaving things out is absolutely brilliant. I love it.
Oh, I'm so glad you said that. We're supposed to only go for 10 or 15 minutes, but we just get carried away. We have too much fun. And
I think that's... And I think that's really important because, you know, you're a duo in so many forms, but I love the fact that sometimes it's actually okay to disagree with each other and have different points of view. And I think when you're right in the crux of that, you can't just wrap it up, can you?
No, definitely not, because I've got to prove that I'm right. I mean...
Of course. And then we're all rooting for her on the other end, but that's okay.
Do you know what? Everybody always is. I don't know why, but everyone just says, I love Kylie on the podcast. No one ever said... Anyway, Kat, let's talk about you and your experience on parental guidance and everything associated with that. The first thing that I want to ask you about, just the experience for you of being on national TV for 3 weeks. I know that you've already got a pretty popular social media profile on TikTok.
Yeah.
But what's it like being that woman on the TV show, the honest parent? What's that been like?
I've really started to like myself more and more in the last few years of my life, and I'm 50 this year, Justin, and I'm really probably since I was about 44 just started really embracing who I am and being proud of myself and knowing that, you know, you've got this kind of motto that I like to give myself and then roll over onto my children as best I can. But I've got to tell you, rewatching that and sitting with my children in the lounge room and some friends, my goodness, did that couch look big when it was just me on it. I looked at that and I thought, wow, Kat, you actually really did that. You went in there guns a-blazing, so to speak, ready to rock and roll, and did that all by yourself, whilst other people had the pleasure of having their partners to sit down and digest and reflect and talk about things at the end of the day. Really, at the end of the day, it was just me.
Love Kat. So happy for her. She's doing it all alone and she's nailing it. She's got it.
Yeah, she's not just doing it. She's knocking it out of the ballpark.
Yeah. And it just reconfirmed to myself that I'm doing okay. I'm doing this job and I'm doing okay because you've got to be pretty confident to put yourself out there on national TV, right?
You give me goosebumps. Yeah, I love that. People are recognising you. People are recognising the kids adjusting to their new fame in the schoolyard.
Look, Jesse's very popular with the girls, let's just say. I'm 6 foot, Justin, and he's probably up to my cheeks. So, and he's a blonde bombshell with dimples and blue eyes. So the girls he can't quite understand it yet, and he's not really digesting it the way I expect him to in maybe 2 or 3 years. But he's definitely getting a little bit of a a bit of acknowledgement more than he used to. Billy's too cool for school and just takes things in her stride. I do get, you're that honest mum. And you know what? A lady in the shops actually said to me, we need to make you a T-shirt that says stop because
Yes.
I feel like apparently that was my catchphrase throughout the show. And I love that idea because she's, I've gotten a lot of positive feedback. Obviously, there's a little bit of negative that comes with positive, but I'm comforted by the positive and I try not to acknowledge the negative.
Yeah, and there's always going to be keyboard warriors who would never do what you did. Never stand up and do it so bravely.
Not.
So I think that you're right to let them just have their own little corner where they can be whoever they are. Kat, we do have to talk about one of the biggest and most, I guess, provocative moments of the entire show, and that was when your little daughter jumped onto a computer program and was approached by a stranger and she literally gave away the farm. She sold everything for nothing.
Okay, she's just revealed her street address.
What's all this?
That's not my text. That's other people.
So you haven't talked at all?
No?
Okay, good. Okay, that's cool.
None of you can beat me up any more than I'm beating myself up right now, so no one's beating you up. Everyone feels for you right now.
Obviously, you had a really big moment on the show and ended up walking out of the room and just having to compose yourself. Can you talk us through that experience and what's happened in the aftermath?
I'm really glad you asked me that. There's been a little bit of confusion based around how upset I was with the fact that I mentioned that she'd lied. That was a really big moment in my parenting manual of learning. I was not at all, not even in the slightest angry that Billy had lied. I was so disappointed in myself that I'd come in so hard with me questioning her that she within herself therefore thought, oh, I can't be honest. I can't tell mum about that. So, yes, I do believe that a penny dropped for her, a very big, valuable lesson. But I also think it was a very big, valuable lesson for me because I need to go in softer. Since then, we've talked about this discussion probably every 2 to 3 months. We revisit it, which I never would have done before if it wasn't for the show. And Jane was just fabulous with her knowledge in that arena as well. So it is a regular thing that parents need to do. I thought I had it all covered in that department, but I really did not. Cyber safety is a big thing that's growing and it's going to overtake all the knowledge that any Gen Xers and Boomers and that are going to ever be able to keep up with because we're not growing up with it. So I've really learned a lot about it. It was shocking for me to see that my little daughter wanted to play with someone so badly that she, like you said, sold the farm.
Yeah. Well, we're going to be talking with Detective Superintendent Jane Crossling tomorrow on the podcast about exactly what happened, how it played out, and her advice for parents on that. I'm just so glad that it created so many conversations. So many people saw it and said, oh, we are talking about that in our family now because the kids saw it too.
Justin, I had many people in the supermarket, at the post office coming up and literally sobbing to me and thanking me. So something that Billy thought was quite embarrassing having to revisit. So many people thanked me and told me about conversations that they had then had with their children, things that they had discovered through the conversation from having that with their children in the next following 24 to 48 hours. And that made me so happy, so happy.
I want to talk about this issue that you raised just a couple of minutes ago. You're a single mum. You're sitting on that couch and you're right. I remember in season 1 when Deb, a single mum, was sitting on that couch and she from time to time really did kind of look that little bit, I guess, lonely. And you also had some of those moments. But I love the way that you've reflected back on this acknowledgement. It's a big couch. And even though you're there on your own, you feel like you did fill the couch. You used that space and you did it really well. I want to ask you a question because when it comes to research around single mums, this is the toughest gig that there is. You don't have the same level of support that somebody with a partner or a husband has, like Kylie and I have, and all the other parents that were on the show. Doing it on your own brings unique challenges. So tell me a bit about how you make it work, because I know from feedback that we've had that as a single mum, you've kind of inspired a whole lot of parents, a whole lot of single mums and dads to go, okay, I can live into this. I can make this work.
I think for me, and I really firmly believe this, parenting can be a nightmare for all involved. Not just the adults, not just the partnerships, the marriages, the children themselves. But I feel like we've got to actually just hear as well as listen. This is really, really important to me. I don't want to ever get to the point where it seems like I like the sound of my own voice to my children. I encourage so many discussions in life, and this can be about anything. There's nothing off the table, which I very much promote throughout the show. And I just feel like that makes life easier for us, because that means that emotions aren't off the table. That means that upsets and you know, obviously child-friendly and conversations that need to be navigated around their age. We just discuss things so much that I never believe that parenting has to not be enjoyable. And that's a really big thing for me. I'm really big on, and it might be my generation, but I'm really big on continuing a very traditional approach to parenting. Not quite as far as to say, be seen and not heard because I said so. You'll do that because I want you to. Nothing like that. But I'm very big on respect, but I'm also very big on respect both ways. It's never just for the children to have respect for the parent. The parent needs to have respect for the children as well. So I think I always highlight my errors as best I can to the kids. They are quite happy to highlight my errors as much as they can to me. So it's a growth spurt for everyone throughout the whole duration of their childhood, isn't it? That's just how I see it anyway.
When you think back to the show, my total highlight is so immature, but my total highlight was this one.
Oh my God, it could be poo and it could be mud. Who knows?
It could be poo, it could be dirt. No one knows. Yes.
So that cracked me up. But in all seriousness, you had a couple of shining moments. When you think about the show itself, what was your favourite thing about the show? And it may have been a challenge, or it may just be a reflection on the show now that it's over. But what did the show do for you? What was your favourite part of this?
I have got a very tiny one-liner, and it was really a shift in my whole demeanour about that entire show. And I'm really glad you asked me that, because I really want to share it with people. I've had a bit of feedback to say that maybe I am a bit abrupt, maybe I am a little bit hard on the odd occasion, maybe I'm a little bit too direct. And to me, there was this one moment when I looked at Billy and she looked back and she was about to attempt abseiling, and I saw her cry. And I've gone from being, you know what, hey, yeah, you could probably break your arm, you could drop, you could. But the second I saw her cry, I loved that Australia got to see my whole demeanour shift. And straight away, I just turned that immediately into, oh, love. And I approached her straight away. And the whole way I parented was seen from a different angle. And I think that that's really important for me to have everyone see that I am as soft and squishy like a marshmallow. And it's only I get really tough when I need to be.
Here's how that played out.
Oh, love.
Hey.
I want to do it.
Okay, you know what? Love, look at me. Never, ever, ever going to make you do something that you wouldn't want to do. Okay, I'm not going to make you do that.
Kat, Kylie's favourite part, and she wanted me to mention this to you even though she couldn't be here, was the very last thing that we heard on the show.
I think I'm always going to be an honest parent. That just confirms that I can finally trust my gut instinct, and it's telling me that I'm on the right track.
Kat, can you tell me, when did that realisation happen? Was it because of the show? Were you already there before the show? Has it happened as a result of the challenges and getting that vote of confidence? Like, where does that come from, and how long does it take to get there? Because so many parents just wish for something like that.
It was like a penny drop moment. I've been told so many times by family members, by friends, you are doing such a good job. You are raising such beautiful children. Oh my gosh, your kids are so well-mannered. They're so polite. This is a testament to you, Kat. I am the most awful person at taking a compliment. I will always back it up with a, oh yeah, but. And I'm terrible at taking a compliment. I believe that that's very much a Gen X thing. We're not really good at it. Great at giving them. Great at really highlighting wonderful things to people, but not good at taking them. For me to sit in that room, and I did get very emotional when I heard my name called out, it was like the validation that I had never looked for. I never looked for it. And I just looked at these people and their faces, and they were genuinely happy. There was no envy in that room. It was complete and utter happiness. And I just thought in that split second, and I said it, you guys love me. Thank you for loving me and seeing me. And that's just when I realised I'm actually doing okay. This is really good. I've been on this couch. My personality is big enough to fit on this couch. I'm doing the role of two parents here, and I'm nailing it.
I love your enthusiasm, and it was such a great moment. The whole room just lit up. They're like, yes, this is so great.
I know.
We kind of need to wrap this up, but just as we do so, I'd love to know, Kat, overall, how would you rate the experience? Whether you emerged as the quote unquote winner. I mean, we don't really make a big deal about the winning, to be honest. The show's not really about winning and finding the best parenting style. But every now and again, there are people who'll say, oh, I could never do a show like that, or these people are nuts. And there's obviously some people, like I said earlier, the keyboard warriors, who do have comments that are not productive and helpful. How would you overall describe your experience being part of Parental Guidance Season 2?
There is not one iota of regret with this. The cast and the crew, everybody was so accommodating and kind and inviting and wonderful. Like I've made friendships, and I know that we all, you hear this sort of thing. I've made friendships for life, but I genuinely have made friendships and companionship with some people that I otherwise wouldn't have had the luxury of meeting. My children's confidence has just skyrocketed through that experience, and there's not one bit that I wouldn't do again. In fact, I'm hungry for more, Justin. Hit me with something else.
we need a new Honest Parent TV show.
You know what? I've got an idea for you.
Yeah.
Let's get to Season 4 and let's get the winner, so-called winner, from 1, 2, 3 and 4, and let's do them in a challenge.
Do a reunion show. I love it.
Do a reunion from the winner from each season and then put them on a season. And I think that would be a kaboomba.
I think you should go up against Ali Langdon and her family.
Yeah, look, honestly, Ali, how beautiful is she?
She's great.
She cried so many tears for me.
She did, yeah.
And so many people have actually said to me, wow, did you have a really good connection with her? Because she was just so on your team, and not as in for me to benefit at the end, but just she was very mindful. You were both beautiful about the fact that I was sitting on that nice big on that big Titanic couch all by myself. But she really has a beautiful heart. Such a wonderful heart, but I think I would smash her in the parenting corner. I'll arm wrestle her too. I think I'd probably win that too.
I love your confidence. Oh, I just remembered one more question that's just popped into my head. The abseiling challenge in the grand finale, when everything was, I mean, this was just such a big challenge. Your kids opted out, and in that moment, you said, "We can always come back and do it again."
Yeah.
Have you taken them abseiling yet?
Yeah, no, I haven't done that. Opportunity just hasn't arisen for us. But I'm a really big believer in, we're not here to traumatise our children, right? We're not here to sit there and, in my eyes, make them do something that they're maybe not ready to do. But I want that level of, this is not the last opportunity in your whole life. Next time we go to do something, it's an option for you to do that. I reckon you're probably going to want to give that a go, because I can tell you right now, Justin, for months, like my children have been just saying to me, Mum, I really wish we'd done that abseiling. Hey, well, maybe let's organise a time to do that again. Yeah, and now they're keen for it.
Yeah.
So although some people maybe didn't think that I pushed enough, I'm dealing with, a sensory overload from one child. I don't wish to harm them in any way. I want them to want it themselves. And, maybe I could have gone alongside them. So there's all reflection in every single avenue of that.
I love it. And, of course, you do have kids who have some additional needs as well. That was something that people would often say. They'd be like, oh, hang on, they're all neurotypical kids. We're like, no, we've got a pretty good level of diversity in there.
Yeah, and if I may say, Jesse's a really mixed bag, and I'm probably not going to use the language that modern day people will use, but he is a mixed bag full of goodies, we'll call it, of different things on the spectrum, and it's quite an elite little package actually. But he had a lot to overcome with those things, and as a parent, we know those children better than anybody, and we know when it's going to go really wobbly, or where it can and create trauma where they'll never want to do that again. So I really had to look at what was going on there and know my children and know that wasn't the day for it.
Well, you brought a bag of goodies to Parental Guidance Season 2. Kat, the honest parent, it was so good to be able to chat with you and wonderful to be able to see you on the telly. Really wish you luck with whatever comes next.
Thank you so very much. It's been an absolute pleasure. And please get Kylie back on because I really miss her.
Oh, yeah, it's always about Kylie. That's fine. Thanks, Kat. Appreciate your honesty again.
Thank you so much, Justin.
The Happy Families podcast is produced by Justin Rulon from Bridge Media. Craig Bruce is our executive producer. For more about making your family happier, please visit happyfamilies.com.au or check out our Facebook page, Dr. Justin Coulson's Happy Families.